Hello everyone, it's Marie from Crafty Landing with you today. The first thing I'm going to do is apologise if the video is a bit dull. We have had gorgeous weather here in the UK, and today of all days it is dull and rainy. Of course, the day that I want to video, there we go. That's just the way it is. So yeah, I do apologise if it's a bit dull. Now, I'm here on day 4, August the 4th, of Out With a Bang, the last days of summer. Woohoo! Hosted by Mandy and Julie. Mandy's from Sunflowers and Doors and Julie's Papercraft. Thank you, ladies, for asking me to join in. I'm excited about this one. How fabulous to have something to do throughout the August period. Now, all 31 days in August, there are going to be collaborators that are going to share their creative spin on like a summer themed prompt that we've been given. So that's what the collaboration's all about. And the kits, wow, 3 kits. One is called Shabby Things, the second Faded Impressions, and they are both from Mandy at Sunflowers and Doors. And the third one, which I'm using today, Vintage Florals, that's from Julie at Julie's Papercraft. And everything will be linked below in the description box. All the collaborators and all the information you need will be there. And all 3 kits, you will get 25% off throughout the whole of August. So while this collaboration, Out With a Bang, the last days of summer, is on in August, you will get 25% off the kits. And if you're in the Facebook group, I do believe that there will also be freebies given out throughout the August month to coincide with these 3 kits. So let's get going. I'm using Vintage Florals today, and my prompt is blooming lovely. Blooming lovely. Did I say that in a London Cockney accent? I don't think I did, because I'm Cornish, but that's how I'm saying it. Blooming lovely. So let me show you what I thought we would have a go with today. I'm just going to get the bits and pieces that I need here. And I'm just going to share with you some of my ideas of using, where's the other one? I should have 5 of these. Here it is. Of using Julie's Vintage Floral Kits. Now, this is what I thought we would do today. We'll make some tabs, shall we? Can I show you that? Can you see the little dots on it as well? The little lovely bit of bling dots from my pearl accents. That one. And I believe that one is that way too. This one is this way. Look at that, a bit of mesh, a bit of lace. See the little pearl dots on there? Lovely. And this one is this way. Look at that. So they are page tabs, so they can go on the page of your signature. And I've also been playing around with this envelope is in the kit, Vintage Florals. So I backed the inside with some book paper, give it a bit of stability, put it all together. But before I glued it, I decided to cut, there's a flower down here, and I decided to cut part of that flower, which allows me to pop in. This is a photograph from my stash, but this is one of the vintage frames that you get in the kit. And I've just torn it open a little bit more to fit my photograph, and she is holding some flowers. Can you see that there? And I thought then it would just pop in there. So that bit is just like making one of these. Everything that I did on here, the little cluster, I just repeated on the top of the little bit. Let me take that away. The top of the little bit of the envelope that I cut away there. And then that allows me to hold that on the outside, but I can still pop something on the inside. So yeah, but today I thought I'd share with you how I put those together, and if we've got time we might make a tag using the similar cluster way. So I'm going to put that one away. Let me show you some of the kit that I have got printed off here. just we're going to need this in a minute. Let me put that away there. So these are the frames. Which way up? Here are some of the frames. That's a file that I'm beginning to cut out. Some of these I've cut out. That's more frames, and that's the one I used there. You can see where I've cut it out. So they're plain, and these are the fancy floral ones. And then we've just got bits and pieces here. Let me turn it that way. So I've printed some off. Look at these vintage florals. How beautiful are these? That's another envelope to put together. Just look at that. It's like a coin envelope, I think. And let me show you some other bits. That's more, look, just look at that beautiful thing. Isn't it gorgeous? And that's right. So those are some of the bits and pieces from the kit. So yes, today we're going to be making some things like these tabs. So now what you'll need is you'll need some paper or cardstock to actually make the tabs with. You'll need little scraps of anything you've got, like ribbons or lace, bits and pieces like that, and I've got things in here already. Let me move those out of the way. So yeah, so I've got here, look, I've just got bits, scrappy bits of ribbon and lace and bits and pieces. So yeah, old lace curtains, like netted curtain, just bits and pieces really. Tea stained, I think I've got a little bit of tea stained fabric here. Yep, I tea stained this little bit of, I don't know, I think it was a pillowcase or something. So yeah, anything, and a bit of mesh. I've got white mesh here. Bits and pieces from your stash, like lace and bits like that. And also buttons. I've got vintage buttons in here because I added the buttons on as well, give it a bit more of an effect. And also I used these liquid pearl things. They are a few years old now, and I wasn't sure if they would still work, but they did. I've got different colours here. I did have to unclog one. I can't remember which one it was. But I've got like an avocado colour, green, which goes with the green from the kit. I've got gold. Is this gold? Yeah, Bright's gold. And I've also got this sort of biscuit one. It's called Biscuit. So yeah, so I've got those, and I haven't used them for ages, so I'm so glad I've pulled those out. And buttons, and if you don't have anything like these liquid pearls, you can also use like stick-on gems. You could use those. These are quite big, but I have got smaller ones, and you might have smaller ones as well. So we need some of those, and we also need the florals. Let me move some of this out of the way because I need to show you what I did. So these here are the pages that you get in the kit. I've just printed off, let me move this out of the way. So the pages are like that. So that would be one whole page, and that would be one whole page. Where's my signature? Let me show you. Here it is. So I've begun to make up a signature. So is this one on there? No, let me just see. The blue one is there, that one. So I tend to make my signatures traveller's notebook size. So they're slightly narrower. So you can see that image there. That is one of the pages in the kit, which is, oh, I've cut it out because it was there. But those are the pages. And what I've done is I have printed off 6 to a page. So on my printer settings, I had like an option for multiple pages together. So I've just done 2, 4, 6 to one page, and they've come out this size, which is fab because it has meant that I can cut out these bits of flowers from the kit to make my page tabs up with. So they've come out lovely, lovely size. And if I show you what I've got left of, so like here, so this one is this one down here, that page, and you can see if I put that on the top there, you can see the part that I've cut out. I've cut out this part here. And that part there is, I have it here ready somewhere. There it is. It's this one. Oops. There. So I've cut out that bit there. And it's big enough to, and small enough rather, to make the tabs with. So that's what I've done, is I have printed multiple pages onto one. And to get the size that I've used, 6 to a page, but I do believe if you look at your printer settings, you can even print 9 to a page, which I think are called wallet size, so that would make them even smaller. And what I sometimes do is I will make a little viewfinder, and a viewfinder is just a bit of paper, plain paper, so that you don't get distracted, with a hole in it. So then it allows me to kind of like, it's like a magnifying glass, and it would allow me to kind of view smaller things on the page. So my viewfinder might have caught that bit there, and I'm like, oh yeah, that looked lovely. So I will then cut that bit out. And up here, this page is fab because you've got something there. There you are, look, and you've got something there. And I do believe I've used that one. That bit there is that one there. Can you see? I think it goes that way. Yeah, this is one that goes that way. So there's that bit, and it's that bit. So I've used that one. So yeah, let's get cracking. So I've printed multiple pages, and I will keep these up here so that we might be able to refer to them if I have a little bit of a motivation lull. I can have a quick look at those. Right, so let's get back to what you need. So yes, I've already gone ahead and cut my bits and pieces out to make it slightly, the video slightly quicker really. So that's what I've done. So I have got bits here that will be, I'll be able to fold in half to make my tab. Okay, and I've just, again, I've got my scrap box out and just made some. Okay, I don't even know what the size is. I don't know. It is roughly, oh, let me put that over here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 centimetres. So it's roughly 6 centimetres long. Okay, just fiddling about my microphone here. Sorry, it slipped. So sorry if you didn't hear me then. And width-wise, it's probably about 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so 4 centimetres by, what did I say, 6. Okay, but you make them however long you need them to be, however long you want them to be. Sometimes I don't just use them as a page tab. Sometimes I will use them as a journal card tag to pull out of the pocket, or even on a tag to pull. Okay, or even just to add a bit more decoration. So don't always think that you have to use them on pages as your page tabs. There are other uses for them, and if we get time, I will show you what idea I've got for one next. So yeah, so that's just a bit of an old printout from something, cream cardstock, sort of cartridge paper, oh yes, an old envelope, brown envelope, another bit more cartridge paper. So just grab your scraps. So we need those, and I've got one already folded, and I've got my little bit of ribbon. So that's the one I initially showed you. So let's pop those on there. So I've got that one. I've also cut out one like that. Lovely. That'll make, look at, that'll go lovely on a tab. Look at that. That would go lovely. So I've done that one. I've also cut out this one, which I'm thinking might be too big. So that could be used for something else, but I have cut that one out. I also have got this one here. How beautiful is that going to look? That's going to look gorgeous. I have got this one here. Again, that's going to look super on a tab. Oh, I've got the tiny one here. Let me show you that one. Okay, it does involve a bit of fussy cutting, but the end result is worth it. It looks lovely. This one I wasn't sure about because I had to kind of cut in around here, but actually when it's going to be on top of lace and things, it'll look fine. Okay, now the only other thing I want to say before we start is when you have your cutout, okay, let me do it on the folded one. When you have your cutout, you need to decide whether your front of your page tab is going to be on the right hand side, so you turn the page, or whether you want your tab to be on the other side. Am I explaining myself properly? Let me get my signature back again. Okay, so what I'm sort of trying to say is, on your page, on your tab, you need to decide whether you want the front of it, so the part you've decorated, whether you want it on the front turning right, or whether you want the plainer side. You could decorate both, to be fair. Whether you want it, is that going to, come on, go. So whether you want it to be on the left hand side, but to be fair, you could have both sides decorated, couldn't you? But that is kind of, I had to think about that a little bit, but it's not too disastrous if it doesn't work out, because I think they look fab either way. Right, so I have got some bits here already. I just don't know how many I'll get through, but let's do at least one. You also need a corner punch with an indent. So I've got a corner rounder, but on mine it will take this kind of notch out, the corner, the inverted part of the corner, if you know what I mean. Okay, if you haven't, just kind of use your scissors to cut sort of like a semicircle down the middle of it. I'll show you that in a minute. So my corner punch will do the inverted bit. So I take the fold edge, not the opening edge, the fold edge, so the folded corner, and my hole punch, or corner punch, sorry, can you see that has now come through? My corner punch will, oh, it's quite thick, this one, there we go. My corner punch will do that. So now this time I want this corner, so I'm going to go in there, about there. There we go. Okay, so if you haven't got anything that does that, if I open it up, you can see that it's kind of a semicircle. So you could draw around a small coin or something small where the fold is, and then cut it out, and it'll give you that corner there for the tab. So let's do another one while I'm here, because I might be able to get two done. So let's do that really quickly. So I hope you are starting to join in with the collaboration. I'm excited about it. It should be good fun. I've joined in a couple before with some other digital designers, but this is the first time I've joined in with Mandy and Julie, so I'm so excited. Right, Marie, crack on. I am sorry, I do waffle on. You might want to put this video on double speed. I will not be offended if you do. Which bit am I going to choose? Well, let's just have a look here. Am I getting a bit distracted? I am. I am going to choose, I'm going to choose that one. Let's just move those out of the way. So the one I'm choosing is this one. And I think I'm going to have the tab this way. So I think that might be better that way. Okay. So I've got my tab, I know which way I'm having it, I've got my image, and now it's just a matter of layering up any bits of scrappy things that you might have. I might put that there on the edge. Let me move this up a bit. Okay, I might put that there, then that one, like that, and then my little image. So audition, you need to audition everything, guys. Okay, and then I've kind of got this bit to match the lilac. I kind of have this sort of ribbon, so I've chopped it in half, and what I might do is put that there and make that cross over a little bit, and then choose a button. Oh, needle and thread if you want to have a little go at sewing, because on mine I've actually sewn that button through the whole thing. That might not be a good one to show you, it's patterned on the back. There. I've actually sewn the button all the way through the tab, because the tab's going to be glued on to your page, so it's not going to be showing. So I just sewed all the way through. If you don't want to do that, of course you can just get glue and glue on your button. You don't have to sew it, you can just glue it on. So I've got some vintage buttons here, and I'm just going to decide which one I would quite like. That's not too bad. Maybe a slightly paler one. Let's bring that down a bit. That's not too bad. I quite like that actually. Let me show you. Okay, so I've layered it all up, and I'm thinking of something like that. So now I'm going to ink and glue it all together. So the ink I'm going to use, I think I'm going to use a purpley colour on this one. So it's Seedless Preserve. I've got Seedless Preserve there, Distress ink. I use the little ones for colours I don't often use. For my vintage colours, and I use Express, is it Express, Walnut Express or something? Tea dye, vintage photo, I've got big ones for those. But for colours I don't use very much of, I just have these little square ones, which I think are lovely. So I said I was having it that way, didn't I? The page on the left hand side. So I'm going to use Collal, but I do have Fabri-Tac here. But any kind of glue you've got that you know will glue down fabric and ribbon and lace, just you use your preferred glue. I need a sip of my tea. Ooh, tea. Oh, lovely, I needed that. Right, I said I was going to glue this one on first. So that is going to go on there, and I'm just, my little lace bit here, I'm making sure is coming off the edge of my tab a little bit. So I'm just going to make sure that that comes over the edge of my tab. Bit more glue for the next piece. Okay. And then that bit I'm going to go over the top. I need to fold it again now so I can see what it's going to look like. I'm not being too perfect, too precious. Just want to get something underneath like that. Do I want to ink my little cutout? I might, but of course it's very fiddly because it's tiny. But I might give it a little bit of something around the edge. Get rid of any white bits that might be there. Sometimes I also do, especially if they're fiddly bits, I will ink underneath from the back, because that actually helps when there's fiddly bits, nooks and crannies to get into. If you turn it over and ink, it will also help cover any white edges. So I need to put a bit of glue on that as well. I'm not going to glue all over it because it only needs a little bit, and sometimes the cutout part will also be over the edge of my tab. So it's going to go that way, so I want it that way. Nope, that way. Okay, it does need, you need to put it on. Don't be afraid to audition your pieces until you're happy. So like that. Now this one, I think I will glue it on and then sew it at the end. So I'm just going to put my little bits, I'm going to just position them again where I think I want them, and I'm going to put them in like a cross shape, knowing that my button is going to go on the top of them. Yep, I think I'm happy with that. So I'm not too worried that it's covering up one of the flowers. It just adds to it all. So that bit there, I might try and scrunch that up a bit. Another little drop, not too much, Marie. There, like that. And I'm sorry if the sound is going in and out. My microphone does not want to play today. I'm hoping you can hear me without having to turn up your volumes too much. And I'm going to glue the button on, like I said. Might need my tweezers. This is where we play tiddlywinks, isn't it? Let me just, I'm going to pick this up and put it in my tweezers already. It's nice having fancy nails, but boy, they're not very practical, are they? They might look nice, but they're sure not practical. Let me put a dollop of glue on there. Use my tweezers to help me get it into position. There we go. Hold it down a little minute just to take. Won't take too long. And I will sew it when it's dry. And hey presto, look at that. Can you see? Okay. Is that in focus? Is there? There we go. Right, let's do another one. And I'm going to add those, can you see those dots with the pearly, what did I call them? Liquid pearls. Okay, I'll add them in a minute. Right, I'm going to turn off my light here because it's getting bright now. The sun's coming out. Woohoo! You might see, oh, you might see some shadows. Never mind. So we have one. Let's do another. So I've got this one here. I'm not going to get my purple ink this time. Let me choose which of my little cutouts. That's quite big. That one, I love that one. It's beautiful. This time I might do it this way. I do like that one. Let's do this one. Oh, yes. I haven't got one of those. Let's do this one here. Let me move those. They're very delicate. You've got to pick them up carefully. I'm going to use this one, I think, on here, my crafty friends. So that's that one. And this time, do I do it a right-hand one? No, I'm going to do it. Yes, I am. I'm going to do it right-hand one. So the cutouts need to be on the right. The corners need to be on the right because I'm going to use it that way. Bit of purple in there. However, not too much. So I might not use my purple ink. I'm going to grab my, I think this is walnut stain, my walnut stain, and I'm going to do this one in walnut stain, so I'm going to get in there. So this one will be slightly darker around the edges. That one, and I'm going to always ink the fold part too. There we go. I'm going to give, this is rather a big blending sponge, but I am just going to give it a bit of something around the edge. So I'll press it against the edge of my finger. Means I might get ink on my finger, but I'm not too worried. So go around there. I'm going to go, see, on the edge of my finger, and just go around there. Ooh. So if you're new to my channel, hello. If you're new to the collaboration, hello, I'm a newbie too. If you've done this collaboration before, last year, I did join in last year with one or two ideas that I saw people do, but I wasn't a part of the collaboration. But boy, how fab is it? It's just so great. So yeah, if you're joining in for the first time, like me properly, hello, hello. Right, so that is going to go on there, but I need some of my bits of lace and things. I've got a bit of mesh here. Oh, that's quite nice. Oh, yes, let's use something we haven't used yet. What about a bit of creamy, look at this lace here. What about a bit of this? A bit of this with the fancy edge. So I'm just get my scissors. How much will I want to cut off? It's going to be this way. I'm going to cut off, go as far as where the flowers start, I think. I'm just going to cut that part of the lace off with the, oh, look at that. How, oh, lovely, lovely. I'm going to put that on there like that, I think. And then I might put that on there like that, and then put my vintage floral, my miniature vintage floral, like that. Oh, yes, that's what I'm going to do. Let me get my glue. So I'm going to glue down here. Let's put that bit, make sure it's the right. I never can tell with lace. Do you know what the trick is? If anyone knows what the trick is to tell which side, to know which side you've got to use, please let me know. Please leave me a comment to tell me. Oh, and also mentioning comments, please do give me a thumbs up if you've enjoyed this video, and also subscribe to my channel, my little channel, and leave me a comment, please. That would be lovely. Only, you know, I'm not asking, you know, only if you can, please. I mean, I'm exactly the same. When I watch YouTube videos, I love them, and then I go on to the next one, and if I haven't remembered whose I've watched, I can't go back and leave a comment. So I'm trying to press my like and leave a comment as I go now, because I am hopeless, and I do understand how some of you also might not leave comments because of that. You just get so involved, don't you, in watching, and so inspired in watching other people sometimes, that I just forget. Not that I haven't liked it, I watched it and then I forget to go back and like it and leave a comment. Right, I'm just going to press that down with my bone fold for a minute so that it takes. Okay, I'm just going to press that down. Sometimes I will put a paper clip there to hold it. So I'm just going to, but for the speed of this video, what are we on? Half an hour, 30 minutes. Right, let's do, now I need something and a button or something. Okay, let's have a look. This one, where would I put a button? Also, sewing the buttons on, I found that it helped keep the lace in place as well. Oh gosh, sorry, now the light's shining in. It helped keep the lace and things in place if you sewed the button through it. I love that. How, oh no, now the sun is coming out. How precious is that? I love it. Does it need a button? Oh, let's try. I have other bits of like ribbony stuff here, but it might be too thick, too wide. Let's try a little white one. Oh, come on, tweezers. Not that one, this one. But we used a white one before, didn't we, or a creamy one? That would go on there. Oh, tiddlywinks, told you. I have got a pinkish. Oh, what about this one? There's like a peachy one. And I'm thinking of the inside of the daisies. Do I need to put something like that on there? Down there? Or in the middle? Not in the middle, it covers up too much of the daisies. What do you think? I do quite like that. Right, what have I got to go underneath it? It needs something to go underneath. Let me look. I have got tiny bit of this, like meshy stuff. I could cut that in half and do the same as what I did before by putting, or I could fold it like a V. Okay, so if you fold it over like a V, like that, and then put it down, and my button can hold it like that. Oh yes, that would be quite nice, and I would sew that button on as well. Okay, let me do that. So I'm going to need a blob of my collal for a minute to hopefully hold this mesh. When you're doing a video and you kind of like, you've got time limits on yourself, it is hard to get everything to stick and be the way you want it to be, because of course when you're just at home fiddling around with things, it doesn't matter how long it takes, does it? But when you've got a video and you're trying to do a demonstration or a tutorial, it is quite tricky. Oh, see, I knew that would happen. it not sticking. I need something to hold it there. This is what I mean. See, now we've got to wait a bit for the glue to dry. Okay, I'm just hoping that that will hold, because I want to put on the liquid pearls while you're with me. Can you see that one? Let's put on some liquid pearls on the first one. Right, all good. That one is beginning to stick, I think. Okay, and I will sew through these buttons. So I've made a right hand one, and I've made, sorry, a left turning one and a right turning one. But we need something to finish it off. Let me close my glue. Oh, if you use collal, it stinks, doesn't it? Do you find that? Ooh, it is a bit overpowering. Now, guys, shall I use the biscuit on this one? I think this one, the one I've just done, I think that would need some gold. Do you? Because that button is kind of peachy gold. Yes, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to, hopefully that button will hold still where it is. And all I'm going to do with my liquid pearls is make sure I stay on the image itself or the tab behind, because it probably won't, if I try and put pearl drops on the lace part here, it's just going to go right through, or it's just going to look like a great big blob. So I'm just going to make sure I put them on the, you can't see very well on that one. What about this one? I'm going to make sure I put them on the paper image, the actual digital image, or the tab cardstock. So this one, okay, and all I do is you've just got to squeeze a tiny bit until it raises up a little bit. Can you see that bit there? It's there, look, and it's just slightly raised. Okay, I'm going to put another one, and then I would, oh no, wait, that bit flew out. Oh. And it takes a good, I would say, leave it alone for 24 hours to dry. It does take a good amount of time. Also, I like odd numbers, so when I'm doing things, I try to think of odd number, not think, but make sure anything I do is like an odd number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I have got 5 of my pearl drops on this one. I hope you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I like odd numbers. So that's what I'm going to have to leave that one to dry completely. So I would say overnight, definitely. And I will post pictures in the Facebook group once everything has dried and made. So this one, I don't have a purple liquid pearls, but I do have the biscuit one. I do have the green one, but I don't think there's enough green on here. But I do have this like buttercup one. Shall we try some buttercup pearls on there? I'm going to go for it. I love them. I think they just add that something. Mind my fresh glue in case it's not dry. So there's no particular order that I'm doing these in, or place that I'm doing these in. I'm just putting them where I think, 1, they would show up, and 2, they look nice. And put 1 in there. That's 4. That's 5. Yep, that's all I'm going to do. Put my top back on that. It's tiny, tiny nozzle, and you just squeeze them out. But like I say, if you don't have anything like these, you can use your stick-on diamante pearls or anything like that you might have. I would definitely put a dollop of glue on that before sticking it down. I wouldn't rely on just the backing. I would always put my own dollop of glue down. There we go. And when those two are dry, they're going to look fab, like this one. Okay, and this one. So I think I've got enough tabs there now. Let me move on. What time is it here? Oh yeah, we're okay. Let me move on to something else that I was going to do. So my next idea, and we could use like a tab idea, I think, for it, is this. So I have now got this tag that I want to make. Okay, I've got my bits together. The tag from the Vintage Florals kit is from this page here. Julie has given us 3 decent sized tags with these vintage floral images on. Aren't they gorgeous? So that's from Julie's Vintage Floral kit, the one that I'm using. And I tore mine. So this was the other one, okay? And I just tore around the floral image, as you can see. And I'm thinking of making a journaling card with it or something. So even though it's got that part of the tag shape on it that I didn't cut, I'm going to be covering the top part, I think. So what I thought of doing was, I've got my backing from an old book about pansies, The Legend of Something Pansy, and it's the same height as my tag. Okay, I'm going to have to move these out of the way so that I've got enough room to show you. I need to bring this up a bit. Okay, so that's my tag height, and that's my journal card height, the same height. And I thought I would stick that down there. Oh, but with some book paper underneath. So I've got this old like dictionary page. I love the colour. Isn't it gorgeous colour? And I love the way that looked underneath there. So I think I'm going to stick those on, and then across the top I thought I'd have a bit of embossed, piece of embossed, like maybe there. I know I'm covering up that one, but I've got all this left, look. And I thought I would do that there. I've got another vintage image from my stash, and she's got flowers, and I thought she would go nicely there. But then on this side I've got this cut out from my small prints that I showed you, from these. Okay, this was on the side of one, like this one here, and I've just cut it out, and I thought that that would go nicely, something like that. And I could do here exactly the same as what I've done with my tabs. I could layer up lace and bits of ribbon down there like that, and it would, I think that would be fab. I could even make this a tab so that it's on my journaling card. I might do that. Let's do that. So let me show you how I'm going to put this together. Okay, it needs a book page down first, so I need some glue. Marie, where's your glue? Glue is in here. Got some glue. So I'm going to use sticky glue for this. 43 minutes. Right, come on, Marie. Crack on, girl. Crack on. So let's put the book page on. Okay, it's not to size yet. I'll do that in a minute. I'll cut off the bits I don't want in a minute. I'm just going to turn this over. So yep, round about like that. Like so. And I want to ink my edge that I've torn. I don't want the white bit showing, so I'm going to use my walnut stain that's already on my dava, and I'm also going to do the underneath because it is white and I don't want any white showing. Don't worry about that bit, it's going to be covered up. Don't worry about the edge because I'll do the edge at the end. So I want to glue that bit on now. So I need a bit more glue here, and I'm going to use liquid glue around the edge just to catch the edge. Right, so I'm just going to use liquid glue. I always use like my Pritt stick or my stick glue, and then wet glue around the edge to make sure it does catch the edge of anything. So this goes on there like so, like that, and I know it's the same height. Lovely. So that's going to go on there like that. So now I can turn it over and I can tear off the excess that I don't need. So I don't need that bit there. Using my ruler against the edge of my journal card or my tag, whatever I'm making, and I'm just going to tear my dictionary away. I actually might just fold that back and glue it. Sometimes I do that because it gives it a nice bit of something on the back. So I'm just going to put my glue. I'm going fast, guys, because I don't want to be too much longer. And I'm hoping you can hear me all right, because my microphone is a bit, what's the word? Temperamental. Right. Oh, upside down, Marie. There we go. So now I can ink the edge. And I think I do want a bit more ink on here. So I'm going to go around the whole of my journal card this time. All right. And go around there. I'll do the back afterwards. So I'm going to go down this edge here. Right. It gives that, helps the vintage feel. And this time I've got my photo, and I'm going to give it a bit of a backing. So I've got some brown paper bag here. So I'm just going to ink that. I'll be back in 2 secs. Oh, hello, I'm back. I'm sorry about that. My husband just needed me. So yes, I've got some brown paper bag that was all crumpled up, and I'm going to back her in that. Oh, sorry, now we've got tooting going on outside. Not quite sure why we've got tooting going on, but we've got a few cars going toot, toot, toot outside. It's the school holidays, so there's a bit more traffic around than usual. And also where I live in the UK, in Cornwall, it's well known for tourism in the summer. We have beautiful beaches, and I'm surrounded by coast. I've only got one county touching us, and that's Devon. So Cornwall is, oh, now I've got glue on. Marie, watch what you're doing. Yes, we've got a very, very beautiful county. One other county next door to us, Devon. But the rest of Cornwall is surrounded by sea. We are right down, if you don't live in the UK, Cornwall is right down the southwest tip of the country. You can't go much further, otherwise you end up in the Atlantic Sea. If you have heard of Land's End, that is where I live, in Cornwall. Land's End is in Cornwall. Right, so I've got my brown paper on here. I'm going to bend it around my photo a bit, crumple it up, squish it in like that. Okay, give her a bit of, I'm not even going to be worried about bending a corner of the photo to make her look a bit old. Not her herself, but the actual photo. Make that look a bit old and vintagey. Squish it in a bit, give it a bit. Right, there we go. So she's bent a little bit. Give her something. She is going on there like that, but I do want to put some of my embossed mulberry paper on the end. So I'm thinking like that much, so about that much. So again, just with my ruler, I'm going to do about a ruler's width actually. Can you see that? I'm going to use my ruler and just do like a ruler's width. Again, tear that off. That's the bit I'm going to be using, so I'm going to ink it up. I might need to cut off. Oh no, it's going to be almost perfect, I think. That never works out like that. That has surprised me. It's going to be the perfect length. Woohoo! I'm just going to put a bit more. I might just, there we go across the top. So my glue is being a bit, come on glue. Actually, I should use the bigger one, shouldn't I? Why am I using the one that's got a tiny pin on it? Let me get this one. Right, let's get some glue on here, guys. Can you see what I'm doing here? Sometimes I forget I'm on camera. And you might say, but you're talking. But yeah, it has been known that I talk to myself, so just because the camera's on and I'm doing a video. Does anybody else ever do that? Oh dear. It was this way, wasn't it? Right, see, now I'm forgetting which way I want to do it. There we go. I'm just going to pop that on there like that. I'm going to leave that bit. It doesn't matter to me that it's not straight. It might come off in a minute. But for now, I'm quite happy it being like that. So I have her, my photo. I might put her like that. Isn't that beautiful, that vintage floral image? Sorry, right, I'm going off piste, aren't I? So now that is going to go there. Is that too low? Do I want her straight or do I want her at an angle? I don't mind her being at an angle. It's quite fun, and she is quite fun because she's got these flowers in her mouth. So she's obviously quite a fun old lady. So I think I will put her. Do I want it that way though? Ah, but then this bit won't be touching the photograph so much. Right, audition, Marie. Audition, yeah, I'm going to put her that way. So now I am going to stick her down. And I am going to stick her down with some collal. So she's going, because it's a dictionary page, I know she's going on the word boring. Oh, but she's not boring. I hope this video isn't boring. But it is the word boring that she is going to be going on, like, yeah, that way, wasn't it? No, it was that way. No, it was that way. I've forgotten, guys. Is it like that? Yes. Right, I'm going to press her down, but not with my fingers. Because I've got a bit of something on my fingers, glue or something. So I'm just going to, right, press her down with something. But I can oh, I think I might have moved her. Yes. There we go. Put her back where she was. Like that. Okay. Right, you stick down there. What should we call her? Well, my name's Marie. What should we call her? She's like a lovely, don't know. Tell me her name. Tell me in the comments what I need to call her. So if I'm going to follow the same sort of idea, I need a tab, don't I? But this is quite big. But I do think I'm going to still make a tab. Yes, I am. Right, fold in half. Okay, do my corners. So just exactly the same now as making my tab before. Okay, so exactly the same, about there. Exactly the same way. Ink. What are we on? 52 minutes. Okay, let's see if we can get this done within the hour, guys. Oh, Marie says. Oh, speedy, Marie, come on. Right, so I want it to go that way. I want it to go on there like that. This needs a little bit of ink as well. It's got a very delicate flower on. Okay, so remember what I did, guys. I printed off the pages smaller, and I think I did 6. Yeah, it was 6, wasn't it? I did 6 to 1 to get these lovely floral images smaller so that I can make my page tabs. So I'm going to do it exactly the same way. So I want a bit of lace, something. Let me get my little bits and pieces back here. So we've got, that's quite nice. Ooh, that is quite nice. But but the flower, I won't need anything too fancy because the floral image is going to take up a lot of the tab, isn't it? So I might need something, my lace might need to be slightly longer this time. And that is lovely, that bit there. Ooh, look at that. So that is a possibility. What else have we got here? Oh, look at this lovely darling bit of vintage lace. Look. How lovely is that going to be? Let me see what it looks like with the image on the top. Oh yes. Oh yes, that's right. That's perfect. I'm not going to use all of it. I want to save some for another project or another place in this journal. So there, I'm going to go up as far as there. And I'm going to cut it off there. I've still got some, yay! And I'm going to, now, do I need it that way, like that? And then put, or does it need to be that way so that that lovely edgy bit there is towards the image? No, it needs to be this way, but I do need something else underneath it. So I'm just looking here. I've got this bit cut out already, so that would save me cutting. Oh yeah, right, I'm just going to go for it. Come on, Kalau, do your stuff. So that bit, like that bit on first. It's all about layering. Layer, layer, layer. So that's one bit, and now my vintage bit of lace is going to go on. Which way does that go? That way, I think. Or that way. Let's go that way. And I'm going to make sure that sticks out the end a little bit. Okay, like that. And now, this lovely, lovely bit of floral there. So let me glue that bit on. Like so. I am beginning to rush now, folks, because I am aware that this video is again taking a bit of time. I can never make quick videos. And that's going to go on there. Now, you may be thinking that you can hardly see any of that lace, and I would agree with you, but I know it's there. I know it's there. And you can see peaks of it. I can see a peak underneath here, and I can see a peak of this vintage one here, which I'm going to pull out a bit more, like that. So I know it's there, and you can see peaks. It draws your eye in. Right, and I need a button or something. So let's have a look. I've got some lilac-y ones here. What about that one? Do you think that? Two lilac? Yeah, I'm thinking two lilac. What about this one? That one kind of goes, doesn't it? That's a possibility. What about brownish one? Nope. I'm thinking of like this goldy vintagey colour here, as well as the pink of the flower. What about that one? Oh, do you know, guys, I'm going to go for that one, but I need something under it, don't I? So let's just see what I've got to go under it. I feel like it needs, I've got some white ribbon, just like the one we used earlier for the lilac one, and I've got like whitey cream. I think I'm going to use that. Let me see what it's like. Yes, okay. So I want a bit that way, and I want a bit to go across that way. And I need my, oh, I've just spotted though this tea stained bit that I had. What would that look like if it was scrunched up and the button was on the top? Do you know that? Oh no, I'm going to use the white because that will tie in with the creamy whiteness up here. Right, Marie, come on girl, we're going to need, let's fold that in half again so I know roughly where I've got to put it. It's going to go about there. I don't want it to be exactly halfway. I want it to be offset a little bit, not exactly halfway. So I'm just going to put a bit more glue. Oops, not that much, Marie. A bit there. Okay, and I think there might even be enough left on here for the button. Let me just tiny bit of blob on there. Oh, I'm sorry guys that this is taking a little while. feel free to speed up. And don't forget, when these are dried, when these are dry, I will be, the tabs, definitely, I will be sewing through them. This one I might not, we'll see what it's going to look like. Now finally, I still think it needs some of those lovely pearl drops. I'm thinking there. See, oh, it's gorgeous, isn't it? Right, so pearl drops. Let me glue this on first. Oh, I get excited. I'm going to glue it on. So I won't sew this button. I'll leave the button as it is because I just want to show you what it's going to look like stuck on. And I probably wouldn't use collal normally either. I would just use my good old wet paper glue. Really, where are you going to put it? It needs to be there. Oh. So I'm just going to, oh, there's a tab. You need to come out a bit. Please don't, oh, now it's going to show the glue. There we go. I'm just going to leave it like that. I'm just going to leave it like that to take a minute. There we go. Now, I'm going to pull it out a bit. Can you see here, I've stuck it in too far? There. It needs to be like that because it's the tab. I will do something about that glue mark later on when it is completely dry. I'm just going to press it down here. Okay. Yep. Look at that. Now I need the little dotty things, don't I? We're just over an hour. Come on, Marie. Go, go, go. Let's have these ones. These ones. No. These ones. The biscuit, I think. So I'm just going to do a few little dots around there. And don't forget, guys, on the Facebook group, I will post photos of what this looks like when it is dry and finished. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Oh, I'm doing more on this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Don't want even, I want odd. There we go. 7. This one's got 7, guys. Let me hold it up so I can show you. Oh, glue. Right. There we go. Look. I might even put 2 holes in there and, you know, thread some ribbon through and tie it into a bow. But there we go. So, guys, let me clear away. I'm sorry it's taken a little while. So I've shown you how to make some, this way, some page tabs. And that one's that way, yep. Some page tabs. Look at these, aren't they so cool? And the ones we've done today are that one and that one. Oh God, I don't think I'm going to sew them. Oh, lush. Lush. There we go. I'm sorry I've kept you. Hopefully you've still got your drink, but rather it be cold, but never mind. Thank you. Remember, everything is linked below, where you've got to go next, who's doing what. And yeah, if you've enjoyed this morning, even if you've had to put me on double speed, please give me a thumbs up if you've enjoyed it and leave me a comment and even subscribe. Okay. Thank you very much for sticking with me. Bye.